If you can stick around for 5 minutes, just hear me out. If you're trying to repair your credit, watch this video. I guarantee you there will be things you will learn about that you've never known about, okay? But there will also be some things that, will be a little bit more obvious. So, this is how I raised my credit score from sub 600, so I had around a 585, up to 828. Okay, so stick around. The first jump up there, you can see where it jumps up from 585 to 640. That was when I was added as an authorized user. You can see there at the beginning, this is back in 2019, 2020-ish. And then later on in the year, you can see where it starts to incrementally go up even more and more. And that's when I started paying off the collectors. And I set up payment plans to pay off all these collectors. But the first 40 to 50 or 60 points, that was just from being added as an authorized user on somebody else's credit card, and it offset my debt to income ratio and my credit utilization, and it ultimately made my credit score go up instantly. So then what I did was I started paying off the creditors and collectors, and ultimately it went up a little bit more for each collector that I set up a payment plan with. It went up significantly. But what really made it go up that last extra bit from about 740 to 828 was getting one late payment falling off of my report, and the final delinquency getting off of my report, an old collection that was paid off. Although it was paid, it did take some time. And ultimately, I'll just go through all this here. You can see this was in, I think it was 2020, or actually, I'm sorry, 2022, when my score jumped from sub 700 to almost up to 800. That was basically just paying off my 30% of the credit utilization that I was using, okay? Now, there are some things that people don't know, and when you get added as an authorized user, what does that mean? So if you have a family member or your spouse and they've got a good line of credit and a big credit card that they don't use, you can get added as an authorized user, and if they just use it every now and then, it'll show that you have a very low amount of credit utilization, but also will offset all the other cards because it looks at your total credit utilization and each one individually. But ultimately, that was one of the biggest things that pushed the needle. The other big things were a late payment. Even one single late payment, it took 7 years to fall off. That's when it jumped up there right here in this year, 2022-ish, 2023, was because I had a late payment that went away. And then, like I said, the last like 30, 40 points or so, once I got up into the 800 score range, that was simply just when I had gotten rid of the last delinquency and I had no more collections on my report. You see, when you pay them and they're in good full standing for months and months and months, they eventually will fall off of your report. But normally it takes something like, depending on which state you're in, however many years it takes for that state. And I think in California it's about 7 to 8 years or something like that. But that's not for everything, because there's certain types of expenses that actually will cost more. And the reason why this whole video is important is because this was the whole reason why I got my credit score up. And what you can do if you don't have money, because that's the biggest problem usually with a lot of people, especially if you're maxed out on your credit cards, get added as an authorized user. Then what you want to do is it's going to make you have a higher credit score. Then what you can do is you can maybe get out some kind of a loan that has a lower interest rate than all your credit cards and pay that off, and then aggressively, obviously pay off that loan with lower interest, so you save all the interest that you're losing. And some people use the snowball method, where you pay off one credit and your lowest hanging fruit, the smallest amount of debt that you have, and then once you pay that one off, you free up a little bit of money for the next month to pay off the next one, and then you pay off the next one, and you start small, get the lowest hanging fruit, and work your way up. But this was the whole reason why it's so important, is because when you want to get a house or get a car, an extra 1% is going to make the difference of if you're going to pay an extra $100,000 over the lifetime of the loan. So that's the whole reason why you want to get your credit score up as high as you want to get it. And it's because you will have a higher credit worthiness and you will have lower interest rates. Therefore, you will have a much lower principal at the end of the paid amount and paying off your loan. So don't fall for the predator tricks. Don't fall for the consolidators that say, hey, come to us and we will pay off all your debts or work it out with your creditors. Because I've done things like Freedom Financial. Don't do that. They let all your payments go late, and then you have to, either cancel out and start fresh, or you might as well have went bankrupt at that point. But ultimately, I tried one of those, and I decided to back out of it, and thank God I did, because it saved me from waiting another 7 to 10 years or whatever to have any good credit, because actually my credit's good now, and it's only been a few years, so about 4 or 5 years actually. So anyways, I hope this video is informative, and I wanted to just relay the information because a lot of people don't realize that there are ways where you can get your credit up instantly, but at the same time too, you have to work through your debts and call your collectors and set up payment plans with each of them. Get another loan like from Upstart or somewhere that gives lower interest rates and better credit worthiness, and ultimately you pay off your credit cards and then don't continue spending credit. You have to get your credit utilization down to below 10% if you ever want to get above into the 800 point range. But some people, depending on the type of loans you have and the amount of them and how many you have and the length of your accounts, that's what ultimately, there's so many different factors that go into making your credit score. But the more credit cards, loans, and stuff you do to try to fix the situation, it'll solidify and create a stronger foundation for your credit. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and sorry for the long-winded explanation, but ultimately, and it took me like 4 years to put all this together, and I just don't have it as organized as best I'd love to, but I've been waiting years to put this video out, and I just figured maybe if I put it out and there's one person that it helps and they're watching this, let me know in the comments. That'd be great. Thank you for watching. Take care, God bless, and Godspeed.